everyone. Welcome to another interview with successful business analysis practitioners. You all must be aware what is the objective of these interviews are. So the objective is to interact with the business analysts who have successfully cleared the CBAP certification to understand their journey, the journey which involved a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of determination. So just to give you a background, CBAP stands for Certified Business Analysis Professional, which is conducted by IIBA, and it is International Institute of Business Analysis. So today I have Chandeep Kaur with me, and we will be having a one-on-one interaction with her to understand her journey in her own words. My name is Nitin, and I will be the host for this particular interview. So let's get started. Hi, Chandeep, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Nitin. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks a lot. So before we begin with the interview, just want to understand about your professional background, how you started your business analysis journey.
Okay. So, I've been working as a BA for a few years, and right now I'm a senior BI analyst working for a New York-based company. I do wear many hats. So, what I'm doing currently in my career or in my current job is we do a lot of coordinating on the projects, like trying to gather requirements from the client, making sure from the delivery perspective we are working within the projected or the estimated time, and and within that process we try to ensure that we provide most value to the clients. And what I do is I also create a lot of documentation, gather requirements, create BRDs, FRDs, and also some knowledge transfer documents. So that's pretty much what I do in my job.
And when did you appear for CBAP certification?
July 2022, this year.
And how was your experience with that?
My experience has been very, I would say, tormenting, because it's a very tough certification, and then there is a lot in the course material that you have to do, and then there is a lot of frustration that comes within the cycle of practice and rinse and repeat, and then sitting for the exam, making sure that you're finally ready for it. So yeah, it's been a tough journey, but in the end, I think success always tastes sweet.
So true. May I ask why did you decide to go for CBAP, not any other certification? Why just CBAP?
I would say, see, I'm a very detail-oriented person, and at the same time, I like to have an eye on the big picture. I'm great at analysis, and I like to solve problems as well, and like to solve a different problem every time. So, considering all that, I thought, business analysis is one profession that I really want to go into in depth, and IIBA is one of the institutes that provide this world recognized certification, and I wanted to go for that CBAP purely for the same purpose.
Okay. How was your time management? I mean, that is one of the key things which people want to hear from an individual who's working and also studying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, time management is difficult because when you're working, 9 to 5, then it does get tough. Either, by end of the day, you're very tired. You don't. It takes that much of mental effort to learn anything, and you're not actually learning as such, apart from once you studied in college. So you're not into that process and that mode anymore. So you have to really put yourself into the grind of finding yourself one time slot and dedicating yourself to that time slot and that routine. So for me, mornings used to work well. I used to wake up, I'm an early morning person, so I can wake up early in the morning, say 4 a.m. And then 5 to 7, I used to study during the weekdays. And then on weekends, of course, I can dedicate more time. So that worked for me. So time management, very important. Consistency, very important. Sticking to that routine and schedule is very important for this.
How long did it take you to prepare for this examination, and any
Wow.
challenges that you feel that must be shared and how you can overcome them?
Oh, I think the same thing, so I had been preparing maybe more than a year for the certification, but my active preparation time, I would say 4 months. is what you would really need when you know, go into the cycle of practicing and then rinse, repeat, and making sure that you are also actively listening into such webinars like the one that we are, you know, trying to do right now, and understanding from other candidates' experiences how they did it, and what worked for them, what did not. So understand your strengths and weaknesses. First of all, opt for an institute that will match to your strengths. So I'm a very visual person. I like visual aids. I like visual learning as well. Videos work really well for me, diagrams. But unfortunately, I did not find any institute that could help me, you know, learn visually. And CBAP, in fact, you know, the book that you open, that version 3, you know, the book in itself, it's a very dense book. And yeah, so visual learning, very important. First thing, you can opt for an institute that can, you know, provide you that. An institute that can help you with your application process, that's very important. And Techcanvass had been very prompt with all their responses in terms of, you know, how do you apply, because IIBA can change anything anytime. So you need to, you know, be in touch with an endorsed education provider and make sure that you're, you know, working through them. And at the same time, you also want a solid question bank to prepare. Practice tests are also very important. Case study questions are also important. But exam can always, you know, spring a surprise. I can, you know, talk about that when we get to it. Yeah. So yeah, all these things are very important. And again, you know, practicing, it will also involve a lot of understanding of the concept. At the same time, rote learning is also involved. So I would say, you know, be prepared for both.
Thank you so much for that insight. Any moment when you felt, let me just stop it. Let's stop everything. And this is becoming too much. This is becoming too overwhelming for me.
Oh, a lot, many times this will happen to you, but if you are self-motivated, if you have a target and a goal and a deadline for it, you basically, you know, pay for the application fee and for your exam fee, and then you are going to do it because you've invested so much already, right? And when you look at that investment, you know, you'll feel self-motivated yourself. You know, CBAP in itself takes that much investment for any candidate to keep them motivated for it and keep them, you know, going for it. But I think it's your learning, it's your own, you know, skill development that you want to go for, that can, you know, keep you motivated for this process over and over again. Yeah, it does become frustrating at a point for anyone, but yeah, you should understand why you are doing it in the first place, you know, when you take it up. And once you have that, you know, inside you, when once you understand it, I think it becomes easier for you to keep yourself motivated and sticking to that routine.
Mm. And the book, which is BABOK, it's kind of a lot of theory to absorb.
Yeah.
How what was your experience with that? What would you want to share? How to start your preparation? How to go about it?
Yeah, so how to start your preparation? I would say I did the same thing. I went through BABOK, I prepared my own notes. So I had one sheet for just the knowledge area, then the tasks, and then the inputs and outputs, and another sheet for just the tasks and their inputs and outputs, and another sheet for, you know, the tasks and their elements, and yeah, and their input outputs as well. So yeah, apart from that, I had another sheet that could help me with the guidelines and tools. So kind of all that mugging up and understanding it from the bigger perspective than just, you know, going through the BABOK over and over again. I did go through the BABOK over and over again, but making your own notes and then refining it through practice is very important, you know, for your understanding of the BABOK. You'll have to go through it, not just once, twice. A lot of people say that, you know, maybe I did it, I read BABOK twice and it helped me. But I think I went through it over and over again because it has many layers if you would like to understand it. It's a dense book. So you have to go over again and again trying to understand. I also bought one of the study guides, a very popular one from Watermark Learning. So that also helped me. And then in the end, the question bank and the those are available online. Techcanvass case studies were very helpful. So yeah, those are also, you know, part of your rinse and repeat process.
And how was your exam day? Did you do some kind of meditation to keep yourself calm, or what was your funda behind it? How to keep myself calm?
Yeah, so I think CBAP is an exam that a lot of people do not crack in the first time, is because they might be prepared for it in theory, but it takes a lot of mental prep on your side to make sure that you're not wasting time on all those long questions, whether the case study questions. So for me, I thought I'm going to fail this exam when I was at my 30th question, because I already spent like an hour of the exam just on the 30th question. And all questions were long case study based, and they were all calculation based questions. So there was a surprise factor in the exam. But what really helped me was, so I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of mental prep myself for the exam, and keep myself focused and think rationally, that, not focusing on how I'm not going to do it, but focusing on, okay, what can I do from this point onwards? I'm on my 30th question. I still have wasted a lot of time. How can I make it work? So I took a moment, and then, because the questions were not ending, all those long questions, even after 30th, okay, I thought maybe 30, 32, 35 questions were passed, and then the calculation questions, and I'm bad at maths. So that was like, I'm going to fail this exam. I'm not going to do this anymore. So what I did was, I thought, maybe they have, few questions that I can attempt. So let's stick to the basics. Let's make sure I'm attempting each and every question. So I started from the last question. So, and worked my way backwards. So when I saw the last question, all those questions, backwards, were so easy to attempt. I was able to answer them within 30 seconds or so. So I think their funda of, making in a candidate or testing their mental strength is to make sure that the candidate does not, waste time on all these case study based questions. And you have to attempt them as well, but you have to make sure that what you can do in those 3.5 hours that you get for the exam, and make sure that you focus on what you can do at that time, and how you can be successful. So you see, with all these videos and all those recordings, for the candidates who have done the exam, they always say, okay, there were a lot of case study questions. So they can be anything. They can be any surprises during the exam. And so you have to make sure that you focus on, because you have done all the preparation. So you have to make sure that you are actually centered on what you can actually do, and what you can answer well in that time frame that you have.
Thank you, Chandeep. I know you have shared a lot of tips with us. Any more tips which you want to share so that it helps our candidate in preparing for this exam? Anything which you
Uh,
feel you have missed or you want to share?
Yeah, I think on the exam day, focus very important. Do not try to, revise everything just before your exam. Just make sure you have enough notes to, revise them, or do a preparation in a nutshell. Maybe that would take 4 to 5 hours. Keep yourself hydrated. Keep yourself not too full, not too hungry, sort of, and. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And be positive, think rationally, just keep on practicing, keep on refining your notes, rinse and repeat. And I think that's the process, and you're not going to fail. Just be positive, think you can do it.
True, so true. One last question from my side. How's your life after CBAP? Things have changed you. How's your
Oh, yeah.
professional?
Things have been excellent, I would say. Things have been really great in terms of, I got a promotion right after I cleared CBAP. So people take you seriously. You're talking that language, and yeah, I mean, life's great because you kind of understand, because theory practice will go always hand in hand. A lot of people say, okay, practical skills are more important on the job, you kind of learn on the go. But I think theory is also equally important with practice, so that, when you're talking in your conversations, you come up with that understanding of your own skills at that level. Yeah.
So true, so true. Thank you so much for sharing this journey with us, Chandeep. I'm really confident that our audience will gain profound knowledge from this interview and will follow the tips which you have shared. Thank you so much, and you have a great day. Take care.
Thank you so much for having me.